Welcome back to the DRO BETS channel, and the time is here. MLS Week 1 is upon us in 2025. The lines have dropped, and today I'm going to give you my 3 picks that I have already locked in for MLS Week 1. Let's get into it. One thing you will hear me talking about a bunch on this channel over the next 6 weeks or so is CONCACAF Champions Cup and how that affects the early weeks of the MLS season. You really want to be careful about betting on any team that is playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup. And last season in week 1, we had 7 teams that played who had previously played in Champions Cup the previous week. How many wins do you think those 7 teams got? 0. They did not win a single game. 0 wins, 6 draws, 1 loss. And a lot of those teams, if you go back and look, they were good teams that played against pretty bad teams that it would show by the end of the season at home, and they didn't win those games. So we are going to be looking to fade teams generally who are playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup over the next few weeks. And let's get into my first pick. Now, my very first pick of the MLS season is going to be Austin FC -110 on the money line, hosting Sporting Kansas City on Saturday night. Now, Austin FC has a brand new coach in Nico Estevez from FC Dallas. They signed Brandon Vasquez, men's national team forward, to play up front. Mirto Uzuni, a guy who's been scoring a ton of goals in Spain. He won't be available this week, but they will have Jader Obrian to play on that left wing. He was their leading scorer last year, so you don't really mind that change. And they're going to be playing Sporting Kansas City. Now, this is as much of a fade of Sporting Kansas City as it is supporting Austin FC. I think Austin is going to be a much better team this year. They should be. They've spent like $25 million, so they need to be better, or a lot of eyebrows are going to be raised. But this is as much a fade of Sporting Kansas City. Now, we've all seen over the last day that they have moved the CONCACAF Champions Cup game from Tuesday night in Kansas City to Wednesday night. It's going to be like practically below zero in that game. And then Kansas City is going to have to go to Austin to play on Saturday night. Now, Kansas City, you don't want to look too much into 2024 results, but Kansas City had 2 wins, 12 losses, and 3 draws on the road last year. So they were a terrible road team. And you're giving me Austin FC at home, new coach, Brandon Vasquez, tons of excitement. They've got a great crowd there, a lot of optimism. You're giving me them at basically even money. I'm going to go ahead and take that one. So the first pick is going to be Austin FC on the money line at -110. My second full unit play that I have locked in this weekend is going to be the San Jose Earthquakes draw no bet, or the 0.0 spread you will see as well, coming in at -125. Now, full disclosure on this one. Right when the lines dropped, I looked at this. This was about a week ago. I looked at this and I was like, this one is pretty far off. And I actually locked in San Jose on the same bet at +108. So it's moved. And if you follow the DRO BETS _ on Twitter channel, I gave this out, 3 or 4 days ago, and it was at -110. So this has already moved like 15, 20 more cents. I still like it at this number. If you want to lock it in at the money line at +140 right now, I'm seeing that. I definitely don't hate that either. I don't really like the San Jose team total over. It's even money at over 1.5. I could see a 1-0. But let's get into why I like San Jose. So at the top, you can see this is a totally similar formula to what we did in our last play for Austin FC. You have a new coach in San Jose, Bruce Arena, one of the all-time great MLS coaches, against a Real Salt Lake team playing in CONCACAF Champions Cup. They're going to be going to Costa Rica in midweek to play Herediano on Wednesday. So you already have those 2 things you like there: a new coach bump and an opposition playing on the road in CONCACAF Champions Cup, then having to go play on the road again. Now, Bruce Arena, this is a guy who has made his career off of not losing MLS games. He took over the New England Revolution, a team that was really struggling, and turned them into a Supporter Shield winner. And then in 2023, remember, he didn't leave New England because of poor performance on the field. I don't know if any of us are ever going to know the full story on this, but during that season, the Revs were 9-0-3 at home. They had not lost in 12 home games in 2023. When he took over New England, this was a team that was 3-8-2 when he took over. And after that, they only lost 3 of their next 21 games remaining. in the 2019 season. This is a guy that can turn teams around really quickly. Now, San Jose had a historically bad defense in 2024. They gave up the most goals in the league. That's something Bruce is going to figure out quickly. And then they signed Chicho Arango to play it forward. Now, where did Chicho Arango play last season? Real Salt Lake. Do you think he's going to be up for this game against his former team? The law of the X, as we always see. I like Chicho to score. I'm going to be very interested to see what that number is when it comes out. And I like San Jose to get a result here. And then let's talk about RSL really quick. As I mentioned, they are going to be playing in Costa Rica on Wednesday night against Herediano. That's going to be a very difficult game. And their weakest spot is their attack. This is not a team they just sold their forward. This is not a team that's going to be blowing you away with offense. So I really like the matchup for San Jose. And I think at minus 125, that draw no bet. Remember, if they just draw, you don't lose your money. You just get your money back. Again, if you want to play the money line, go for it. But the official play is going to be San Jose, draw no bet, minus 125 for a full unit. For my third and final play of the video, I wanted to go bigger odds here. We've had some minus money plays. We need to go plus money. And we are going to the Columbus team total under 1.5, and that is coming in at plus 170. I'm putting a half unit on that. I don't really want to go a full unit play on this just yet. Let's get into why I am going to fade Columbus this weekend. So you may be thinking, like, you're fading Columbus at home against Chicago, one of the worst defenses in the league last year to not score goals. Probably not the smartest idea, but let's dig a little bit deeper in here. Chicago, new head coach, Greg Berhalter. Now, of course, we can all say what we want about Greg Berhalter as the national team manager, but one thing that is not debatable is that he gets his teams playing in a very composed, compact fashion. And in Columbus, when he left Columbus to take over the national team, his last season there in 2018, they led the Eastern Conference in fewest expected goals allowed. This is a guy who knows how to create a composed defense, and he made a huge signing with Jack Elliott, the starting center back from the really, really good teams in Philadelphia, coming over to Chicago. This is a proven center back. MLS best 11 in the past. I love that move for them. And then let's go to the other side, Columbus. They just sold Cucho Hernandez, their leading scorer, their talisman. They sold him to Real Betis. Now, I trust Columbus over the season to figure it out, sign someone else, and find another forward. They've got plenty of money to spend now. But this is week 1. We're not talking about week 12, week 13. We are talking about week 1. And so you're going to be looking at Jason Russell Rowe and probably Diego Rossi under him without a lot more of midfield creativity. I think that there's a good chance here that Chicago can come in and keep it to a 1-1 or maybe even a 1-0 loss game. This really feels like a coin flip to me to go over 1.5 or under 1.5. If it was like plus 120, I probably wouldn't play it. Plus 170, I got to go for it. A half unit on the Columbus Crew team total under 1.5. All right, so there are my first 3 plays of the 2025 MLS season for you. Let me know in the comments, what are your plays? Are you going to be tailing this with me? Do you hate these plays? What plays did I miss? What are you tracking? We'll be back later this week to look at goal scorers, some other props. We're still waiting on the books to drop those. They're usually pretty late with those, so going to need some time to dip into those. There's a few other plays I'm potentially targeting, but I want to see what happens midweek in CONCACAF Champions Cup. If you're noticing, I'm not backing any team that is playing midweek. I'm actually fading every single team that is playing midweek. So I think we're pretty safe there, and I want to see what else happens. But thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.